was sitting, I can see your belly. And that was right over there at the back of the room. These people down here, you know.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
That weird gut feeling you get when someone who's been fake smiling in your face for years finally gets exposed. Crank that up times 1,000. Add forced laughter, cringe sing-alongs, industry protection, and pure Hollywood ego, and boom. That's the very public crash of James Corden. People weren't shocked, they were relieved, like the mask finally slipped and everyone could breathe again. This wasn't some random pile-on or a one-off joke taken the wrong way. This wasn't cancel culture reaching too far or people being too sensitive. This was years, literally decades, of whispers, side-eyes, and quiet warnings finally boiling over. The internet didn't invent this backlash. It amplified what insiders had been saying forever. Yeah, that guy is not who he pretends to be. James didn't just fall from grace. He face-planted over his own ego, tumbled downhill, and somehow blamed everyone else while rolling. The wild part is how hard he tried to spin it, like he was the real victim. To really understand why this downfall feels so earned, you have to rewind to a time when people genuinely liked him, which sounds unreal now, but it actually happened. Back in 2007, James co-created Gavin and Stacey with Ruth Jones, and the show exploded across the UK overnight. It was funny, emotional, and felt real. James played Smithy, loud, childish, annoying, but somehow lovable. Audiences connected instantly, and just like that, he went from struggling actor to national favorite. That was his golden window, the moment where staying grounded could have carried him for life. But according to people who were there, that humility vanished fast. Fame didn't creep in, it kicked the door down. Co-stars later hinted his attitude flipped almost immediately, like success unlocked a whole new version of him. Even Rob Brydon reportedly had to pull him aside and tell him to relax and check himself. When respected veterans are already stepping in that early, that's not normal. That's a warning sign. And it didn't stop there. James's own sisters allegedly warned him not to turn into that guy. Let that sink in. When your family is calling out your ego before you've even peaked, that's not bad luck. That's foreshadowing screaming in your face.
For whatever it's worth, I like your belly, so. But I would pay to see Sir Patrick Stewart dying on stage any day, so.
And for the people that haven't seen my belly, is there anyone who hasn't got a... It's just there. Okay, can we get a taxi ready, please? The old man going home. Oh.
Instead of listening, James leaned hard into entitlement. He tried to flip his Gavin and Stacey success into sketch shows, Hollywood roles, and big-time hosting gigs. And almost every attempt crashed or faded fast. Horn and Corden got slammed by critics, audiences checked out, and the cracks were already forming, long before the internet turned the lights on. Lesbian vampire killers didn't just flop, it became a full-blown joke almost overnight. Reviews weren't just negative, they were ruthless, the kind that sticks to your name forever. But instead of stepping back and learning from it, James Corden went straight into defense mode. Every critique was treated like a personal attack, and every failure somehow wasn't his fault. That mindset didn't fade. It locked in. And then came a moment in 2010 that should have humbled him for good. At the Glamour Awards, something rare happened on live stage. Patrick Stewart, an actual acting legend, calmly and publicly called James out for being disengaged and unprofessional. This wasn't a hater online or a tabloid headline. This was Sir Patrick Stewart, respectful but direct, saying what others were thinking. And James didn't handle it with grace. Instead of apologizing, he fired back, mocking Stewart right there in front of everyone. You could feel the tension in the room immediately. That moment didn't end his career, but it exposed something crucial. James Corden simply could not take criticism without snapping back. Fast forward to 2014, and somehow CBS made one of the strangest late-night decisions ever. They handed The Late Late Show to James Corden. Most Americans barely knew who he was. Craig Ferguson had just left, expectations were low, and the pressure was real. But CBS had a secret weapon ready to deploy. Then came carpool karaoke, and to be fair, it worked, like really worked. Watching celebrities sing terribly in traffic hit the perfect viral sweet spot. Adele, Paul McCartney, Lady Gaga. The clips exploded instantly. Billions of views, non-stop sharing, total takeover. Suddenly, James was everywhere. Award shows, movies, Broadway, voice roles, hosting gigs, the full media blitz. America bought the image completely. He wasn't edgy, he wasn't dangerous, he felt safe. The cheerful British guy who just wanted everyone to sing along. Perfect for a polished, advertiser-friendly era. But while viewers saw a lovable goof, people behind the scenes noticed something else. Crew members started talking, writers started whispering, staff clocked patterns, how he spoke to people below him, how fast his mood flipped, and how different he was once the camera stopped rolling. Then came the moment that shattered the illusion for a lot of viewers. During a game segment on Jimmy Kimmel Live, James Corden was asked a simple question: name 2 of his camera operators. Not trivia, not a trick, just the people he worked with every single day.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
These were the same people helping make his show run smoothly, lighting him right, framing every shot, making him look good. And James couldn't name one, not a single name. The room went painfully quiet. Jimmy Kimmel tried to joke it away, but James froze, stuck, exposed. That moment said everything. It wasn't about forgetting names. Everyone forgets sometimes. It was about how little attention he paid to the people around him unless they were famous, powerful, or useful in that moment. The vibe shifted, and viewers felt it instantly. After that, the mask started slipping faster. In 2017, just days after the Harvey Weinstein scandal exploded, James thought it was smart to crack jokes about it at a public event. The room didn't laugh. The internet didn't laugh either. Then Rose McGowan publicly called him out. No sugarcoating, no PR language. She labeled him exactly what people behind the scenes had been hinting at for years. Tone-deaf, self-centered, and completely clueless to the moment. And then James made the worst possible move. He did a Reddit AMA. If you ever want a masterclass in destroying your reputation in real time, that thread should be studied in universities. People flooded the comments. Waiters, crew members, assistants, writers, random strangers, all telling different stories with the same exact pattern. Same attitude, same behavior, same energy every time. At that point, it wasn't rumors anymore. It was a chorus. Entitled, aggressive, dismissive, rude, and wildly unaware of how he hit people. That's how story after story described James Corden. One comment summed it up perfectly, calling him a massively entitled nightmare. James answered a handful of safe, easy questions, then vanished from the conversation entirely. But by then, the damage was done. The narrative had flipped hard. The internet wasn't asking if James was difficult anymore. They were asking how he'd gotten away with it for so long. And once that question sticks, there's no going back. Unfortunately for James, things only spiraled from there. By the time public opinion really turned, it wasn't because of one massive scandal. It was death by 1,000 stories. Once people realized they weren't alone, once they felt safe speaking up, the floodgates opened. And what poured out painted a picture that was impossible to ignore. Different voices, different jobs, same behavior every time. At that point, it stopped feeling like gossip and started sounding like a pattern. You also can't talk about this downfall without mentioning Cats, one of the most cursed movies ever made. This wasn't just bad, it reached legendary levels of embarrassing. James played Bustopher Jones, a CGI cat with human hands that instantly haunted the internet.
2 of the cameramen in this room.
It's a different crew tonight, actually.
Critics tore it apart, audiences walked out, memes exploded everywhere. The movie became a cultural punchline overnight. And instead of owning it or laughing along, James did what he always does. He backed away and acted like it wasn't his problem. He later admitted, "I've not watched the film." Imagine being so embarrassed by your own project that you refuse to see it, yet still expect people to take you seriously as an entertainer. That alone didn't end him, but it locked in the pattern. James loved the spotlight when things went right and vanished the second things went wrong. Accountability was never part of the brand. And then came the prom, and this one hit hard, especially with younger audiences. James, a straight man, played a flamboyant gay character built almost entirely on outdated stereotypes. The backlash was immediate, loud, and deeply uncomfortable for everyone involved. Critics called it tone-deaf, and LGBTQ+ viewers felt openly mocked. The backlash wasn't subtle, and instead of listening or showing growth, James Corden responded the worst way possible. He doubled down. He framed the criticism as people being too sensitive, completely missing the point yet again. And people noticed something familiar. Every time James faced criticism, empathy was nowhere to be found. No reflection, no accountability, just deflection and excuses. The pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. But the moment that truly locked in his public villain arc didn't happen on a red carpet or a movie set. It happened in a restaurant in 2022.
Right here in LA, it's so beautiful. Harvey Weinstein has already asked tonight up to his hotel to give him a massage. I don't know whether that groan was that you like that joke or you don't like that joke. If you don't like that joke, you should probably leave now. It's been weird this week though, hasn't it? Watching Harvey Weinstein in hot water. Ask any of the women who watched him take a bath. It's weird watching Harvey Weinstein in hot water. Harvey Weinstein wanted to come tonight, but he'll settle for whatever potted plant is closest.
The owner of Balthazar publicly banned James Corden, not quietly, not privately, but very publicly. The owner described him as the most abusive customer my staff has ever dealt with in 25 years. That quote hit like a hammer. This wasn't gossip. This was a respected restaurant owner putting his reputation on the line to protect his employees. According to multiple accounts, James allegedly yelled at staff because his wife's omelet was made incorrectly, not once, but twice. Servers were berated, accused of incompetence, and the entire restaurant reportedly felt tense and uncomfortable. This wasn't a misunderstanding or a rough day. This was someone flexing power in the worst way. James tried to clean it up afterward. He claimed the story was exaggerated, said he didn't scream, only expressed frustration. But it didn't matter anymore. Once that story broke, dozens more followed immediately. Flight attendants, hotel staff, TV crew members, writers, drivers, different cities, different years, same behavior every time. Some said he ignored his own family in public while snapping at workers like they weren't even human. Others claimed he treated assistants like furniture. Directors allegedly called him one of the most difficult hosts they'd ever worked with. Writers said he tried to lowball pay and take credit for ideas he didn't create. At that point, the reputation wasn't forming. It was already locked in. And just like that, the nice guy brand collapsed completely. Because here's the real truth. James Corden wasn't taken down by one explosive scandal. He was exposed by consistency. Every story lined up, every account matched, and once people finally paid attention, they realized the signs had always been there. Even the Late Late Show started feeling different. Carpool karaoke stopped hitting the same way. Guests looked less excited, laughs felt forced, and the energy just wasn't there anymore. The magic faded fast, and without viral clips to hide behind, James's personality was suddenly front and center. Ratings dipped, clips underperformed, buzz dried up.
The most difficult and obnoxious presenter I've ever worked with is James Corden. I went along to L Street and I sat in the darkness and kind of watched James on the set of League of Their Own rehearse. No audience, no other panel members, just him on his own. And he came to a point where he had to read from a card, and he had a card up like that, and he was reading from it. And it was kind of a joke in there. And he kind of just like, I remember, he just looked at it like, that's not funny. That's not funny. What? He was like, that's shit. That's shit. We have to rewrite that. We have to rewrite this. And I don't know, maybe he was having a bad day, I thought, and the writing's just not been up to scratch. But I definitely thought, man, somebody wrote that. Not nice.
And Hollywood didn't make a scene about it. They just quietly stepped back. No press releases, no dramatic firings, no public mess. Just silence. And in that industry, silence says everything. In April 2023, James announced he was leaving The Late Late Show. He framed it as wanting more family time, a fresh chapter, and peace. But let's be real, when public opinion turns that hard, family time is just PR language for an exit strategy. The final episode aired, big names showed up, smiles were exchanged, but it didn't feel like a celebration. It felt like relief, like everyone involved was ready to close the book and move on quietly. And here's the most telling detail of all. CBS didn't replace him. They didn't search for a new host. They didn't reboot the format. They didn't even try to recreate what he had. They just ended the show. That's the ultimate Hollywood insult, being so unmissed that the entire time slot disappears when you leave. So why does James Corden's downfall feel so satisfying? Because it wasn't random, it wasn't unfair, and it wasn't exaggerated. We've all met someone like him. The fake nice coworker, the boss who smiles in meetings and explodes afterward, the person who treats kindness like a performance. This is the type of person who takes credit when things go right, dodges blame when they don't, and plays the victim the moment accountability shows up. James Corden didn't lose his career because people were mean or unfair. He lost it because the mask finally slipped, and once it did, nobody wanted to help him put it back on. This wasn't a tragedy. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't cancel culture gone wild. His downfall wasn't sudden. It was karma running late, then showing up right on schedule. Years of fake smiles, forced charm, and behind-the-scenes behavior finally caught up, and when it did, there was no spin left to save it. So now it's on you. Was James Corden misunderstood, or was this downfall completely deserved? After years of fake niceness and non-stop horror stories from people who actually worked with him, drop your honest thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video. Share it with someone who remembers peak late-night chaos. Subscribe for more deep dives into celebrity downfalls, influencer implosions, and internet disasters, because nobody escapes the spotlight forever. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.